Nobody give a fuck about their daddy. Y'all don't. Y'all don't give a damn about y'all daddy. Ain't nobody ever said, nigga, I'll kill everybody in here, and that's on my daddy. Ain't nobody never said that. Ain't nobody never put it on their daddy.
And I remember we were gonna play a prank on my father one time. My stepmother was like, listen, because we had them little cap guns. She's like, let's play a prank on your dad. Let me have the cap gun, and when he come in the house, I'm gonna act like I'm shooting all y'all and murdering y'all. Bitch, what happened to the bucket over the door of water? Like, that's a prank. Like, when do we get to murdering all the kids? We all in place. My father comes out of the garage from working on the car. Me, my stepbrother, my stepsister, Tammy, my youngest. My dad walks in, my stepmother goes into it. I can't take this shit. You out there fucking around on that car all day, and these kids in here driving me crazy. She pulls out the gun. Pop! Right? She starts firing off. We start falling. I fall first. Because I need to see how this nigga's gonna react for the rest of the kids. Right? I'm on the ground. I'm expecting something. Every shot she took, my father got closer to the door. Pa, what's wrong with you? Pa, what's wrong with you? Pa, what's wrong with you? I'm laying on the ground going, this nigga's not going to help anybody. There was one shot left. My sister, his only blood, flesh and blood. I said, I know he gonna dive in front of the bullet, be like, not my baby, something. When I tell you this nigga stepped over me and left everybody, I started to laugh. And now the thing is up. He turns around like, what the fuck y'all doing? And then he wanted to go, oh, I was about to, nigga, you wasn't about to do shit.
Nobody put their mama in hospice. No, you put your daddy in hospice, goddamn. Your mama come live it in the back room with you and shit. You check on your mama. Your daddy, you don't even take him to the facility. You let the people come get his ass. Nobody give a fuck about their daddy. Y'all don't. Y'all don't give a damn about y'all daddy. Ain't nobody ever said, nigga, I'll kill everybody in here, and that's on my daddy. Ain't nobody never said that. Ain't nobody never put it on their daddy. You ain't never put that shit on your daddy, nigga. But on your mama, though? On your mama? Shit. You ain't never seen a nigga win the whole championship and get on the camera and be like, hey, daddy. You never seen a nigga win a BET award and be like, I want to thank God and my daddy. Never. Niggas' daddies are up there with like middle school teachers. We can only serve as a fucking inspiration for a nigga that blew up who wasn't supposed to be shit in life. Like, yeah, my daddy never loved me. My teacher never said I was gonna be shit. Like them two positions right there is the same. My father walked out on me. I wasn't good in social studies. Them the same.
I met my father. I know it sounds weird to say met, but I met my father first time when I was like 7 years old, and he spent like about 4 or 5 minutes of our encounter together explaining everything that happened in his life, all these stories that led him to naming me Harold, and it was a great story. One problem, guys, my name is Tyler. That was kind of sad. Second time I met him, a little more serious note, he had ALS, or more commonly known as Lou Gehrig's disease. And for those that don't know, it's a disease of the central nervous system. First thing it does is takes away your lower extremities, and you can't walk anymore. And then last thing it does is it takes away your upward mobility, and you're paralyzed. And then I'm sorry, I think I was going to talk about this. The last thing it does is it takes away your ability to speak, and then you pass away because there's no cure. I'm sorry, I just wanted to tell y'all how strong genes and DNA are in this world, man. I went to see this man in the hospice for like the second time in my life, and it was like our DNA was so strong, man. It was like he knew exactly what was on my mind, man. I walked in there and he looked at me and he said, "It's not hereditary." I said, "You know what, nigga? That's all." You know what, nigga? That's all I came to find out. I was hoping you died in my face. I was gonna talk about the Lakers for a little bit. I was in there, bitch, like, fuck you. I kicked this wheelchair. Look at my legs, daddy. Look at my legs.
Used to play basketball back in the day. We lost championship game. Whole team came to my house. You know what I mean? Because we were bummed out. And who decided to comfort a room full of dejected teenagers? My father. So you lost. All of you. At the same time. 15 people combining forces to lose. You see, when a monkey is climbing a tree, then why is the zebra still stuck? What the fuck are you talking about? I said that in New York. A dude who smoked a lot of weed stood up. I know exactly what your dad's saying, nigga. You're not listening to your father, right? See, the team that beat you is climbing to new heights like the monkey, and y'all were standing around like the zebra. That's why you lost, nigga.